Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and I've already done an unboxing and impressions on the Galaxy S7, but now I want to give you guys some of my impressions on the Galaxy S7 Edge. Essentially, both boxes have the exact same accessories in them, so I'm not going to unbox the S7 Edge again. I just want to talk about it, maybe do some size comparisons between the two devices as well, and then also maybe give both of them a bath. I have a nice glass of water behind me, so let's get to it. Now, it's called the S7 Edge because of the curved display on both sides, as you can see, which allows text and images to feel like they spill off the screen. And I think aesthetically, I like it a lot more than just a flat display. I think it's awesome. It's a really neat just look, and it's just different, especially when watching movies and things are moving off the screen. It looks awesome. Now, for some functionality, you have this bar right here that you can swipe over. Oops, you can swipe over on this bar, and you'll see you have a bunch of different actions. So let's keep swiping over. We have Apps Edge, where you can customize some quick apps. Swipe over, you have tasks as well. So if you want to go ahead and use the keypad or add an alarm, or one I use a lot is timer when I'm cooking, you could do that real quick. And then also you have your People Edge. Swiping over again, you have some news, some Yahoo News, which you can scroll not vertically. And then swiping over, here's one of my favorite ones, Yahoo Sports, letting you pick favorite teams, and it gives you information about them. Obviously, it's still giving information about the Bears, and football's not on right now, but just the latest information of their latest game. Whoops, accidentally hit the resnaps button. Swiping over, here's various tools, such as my favorite one being the ruler. It's nice you just kind of have that right there in case you need to measure something. And then swiping over again, weather. Now, they are customizable, hitting settings right there. You can turn some on and off if you don't use them at all. So let's say, for example, I don't want People Edge. I'm just going to uncheck that really quick. You can reorder it up in the upper right-hand corner as well. Now, there's also download, where you can actually buy some. Some are free, some you can buy. So you'll see messages where it will use the entire messaging thread from the messaging app, or call logs, which cost $1.50 for a couple of those. Data usage is free. CNN is free. But overall, there's a few. There's not really a good amount of them. That's pretty much all that show up. RAM status, LOL friends, and trends from Twitter. So that's all that really shows up when it comes to adding different edges. But it's nice that developers are starting to put some out there. You can also change what side it's on, how high up the activator is, the size of the activator, and the transparency of it as well. You have a size difference between the two. The S7 has a 5.1 inch display. The S7 Edge has a 5.5 inch display. So of course in your hand it's going to be a little bit different. Obviously it is noticeably a little bit bigger. Now when it comes down to it, there's a little bit of a design difference as well because of that Edge display, of course. Now on the sides, one thing you need to make note of is that strip of aluminum. Now on the S7 Edge, it is thinner than on the S7, which makes it a little bit more difficult to hold when you're holding the sides. And also, when you have the devices flat on a table, the S7 is easier to pick up than the S7 Edge, with that skinnier aluminum strip and also no gap, which is included on the S7. You'll see there's a little curve right on the outside here, which allows it some space easily to pick up. It's a little more difficult to pick up off the table. Obviously, if you're face down, it's pretty easy to pick up the S7 Edge because of that gap between the table and the display. But generally, I only have the device sitting face up, so overall it's easier to just pick up the S7, and it's also easier to hold the S7. Also, something to make note of is that it's a very reflective device. Also, it collects fingerprints like crazy. Seeing it in the reflection there, you'll notice all of the fingerprints, all the grease and things that get on your hands while day-to-day use, it just collects on the back of the device. So I might have to throw a skin on there or something. Keep an eye on my social media accounts to see which one I actually choose to put on there. When it comes down to it, I've been extremely impressed with the S7 Edge when it comes to performance. It flies through everything I throw at it. The only weak point I've really seen so far is that speaker. It's honestly just an average speaker, and of course it being on the bottom as opposed to the front of the device kind of goes to the side, and sometimes you can occasionally cover up the speakers. That's my least favorite part at the moment about this S7 Edge. Here's a closer look at the S7 and how it has that curve on the back, and then moving over we have the S7 Edge, how the curve is actually on the front of the device. Now also I want you to make note of how little the camera actually protrudes out of the device, which is a nice update from the S6. One thing people have asked me is if the device actually rocks when pressing it on the sides because of that small camera protrusion, and it does just a little bit. As you can see, when you press the edges, it will rock back and forth slightly. It does it on the S7 as well. However, when I'm actually typing on the device, it's really a non-issue. It doesn't do it enough where it's going to affect my typing, and I don't make any typos because of it. All right, so my S7 has been in the water for about a little over a minute now, and I've currently got a video running on my S7 Edge, and we're going to throw this, immerse it into the water, and it can be up to 30 minutes, I do believe, so make sure you don't have it underwater for longer than that. But I also want to see what kind of happens with this video running. It looks like it restarted. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna try and actually. Oh, it looks like it activated the split screen as well. So it looks like it's actually pressing buttons when it's being immersed into water. I actually don't think that was my doing. Oh, so you see it's typing now too. I definitely didn't touch the keyboard there. So it looks like the water actually does input. Check that out. It's touching the capacitive buttons and it's affecting it. That's kind of neat. I mean, it's not neat. It's obviously not something you need, but obviously you don't want to set it underwater to begin with. But it's cool to see that it actually is working. Let's go ahead and load up the camera. So it looks like the touchscreen's really not working when it's actually underwater. Let's load up the, oops, didn't mean to press that. Let's load up the camera. Obviously make sure if your device gets wet, do not plug it in. Make sure you dry off the charging port. I think a warning is going to come up, but just in case you didn't know that, just make sure you don't do that. So let's go ahead and see if I can take a picture. I don't think it's going to work because I can't actually activate buttons when it's submerged underwater. But once I take it out of water, it looks like I can start using it once again. Overall, though, it's a nice added feature if you want to use it, I mean, in the shower, I guess, or if it's raining out. I had no worries about it getting wet because I was using it and texting while it was out. So overall, don't expect to be able to use it underwater, whether you're going to have to, if you want to take a video or something, you're going to have to start the video and then submerge underwater, and it should work fine. Actually, let's test that out. So you'll see with the water on the device, it does affect touchscreen, as you would kind of expect it to. So you'll see with a video recording, you can obviously go underwater for a little bit while recording the video if that's something you want. Maybe I'll do that in my review. I'm actually going to be in Miami for a little bit, so I might do that there. But overall, there you have it. I'm going to take this out, dry it off real quick, see how easy it is to actually dry it off. Let me turn the screen off. Obviously, like I said, you want to make sure that your charging port is completely dry before you do plug it in and use it again, just because you don't need electric current going through something that has touched water, as I'm sure all of you do know. So anyways, I'm gonna take this out pretty soon. I don't need to let it sit in there for 30 minutes. It should work just fine. Obviously, Samsung's gone through rigorous testing. They wouldn't market it if it didn't work. But yeah, those are my impressions of the S7 Edge. Gave some comparisons with the S7. Lots more to come soon. I just have lots to talk about. Tried to mash a bunch into one video. So make sure you click that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. And click that thumbs up if you like this video. So as always, guys, thanks for watching.